Hey y'all, it's Jamie with your last verse of the day from me for the foreseeable future. It's crazy, I know. Don't worry, we'll be chatting again in person very, very soon. But for the time being, this is our last verse of the day video. It's crazy. Okay, let's get into it. I have been getting back into reading again. After high school and college and having a lot of assigned reading and things that you were required to read, I just kind of fell off of reading. I did get back into it a couple of years ago, but I just couldn't bring myself to really get into books for a while. And I found myself getting back into it right now. And there's a book that I'm currently reading that I am really into, but I've already picked out my next book. Crazy, right? Like, who does that? And it is called Letters to Malcolm, Chiefly on Prayer. It is written by C.S. Lewis, who also wrote the Screwtape Letters, which we just finished in book club. And the reason I got interested in this book for my next book is C.S. Lewis's writing style and the fact that with his books, I can take a little bit longer and not feel guilty about it, because it lets the previous chapter kind of linger and you can understand it more. But mostly it was this phrase that I found. Quote, "Joy is the serious business of heaven." I read this on a website in an article or something, and I was like, what? Joy is the serious business of heaven? That doesn't make sense. Joy is fun and frivolous and lighthearted. What do you mean, C.S. Lewis? I looked into it a little bit, and I'm sure once I start reading the book, it'll make a lot more sense. But what I could find was that in this moment, C.S. Lewis is arguing that moments of frivolity that we experience here on earth, like dancing around our living room or our bedroom, are anything but frivolous to heaven. Only here on earth are we seriously weighed down by sin, brokenness, and distractions that make our joy seem sometimes unnecessary or inappropriate. The picture that we get in Zephaniah of God's response to his people Israel here is very important. So I'm going to read to you Zephaniah 14 through 17, 17 being our verse of the day. Let's read. "Sing, daughter Zion. Shout aloud, Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all of your heart, daughter Jerusalem. The Lord has taken away your punishment. He has turned back your enemy. The Lord, the King of Israel, is with you. Never again will you fear any harm. On that day, they will say to Jerusalem, do not fear, Zion. Do not let your hands hang limp." And our verse of the day, "The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take delight in you. In his love, he will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing." Now, in our verse of the day, it says that he will rejoice over you with singing. Now, this Hebrew phrase can also be translated as he rejoices over you with a shout of joy. So take a second and consider God, the creator of the universe, singing joy over you. We are broken, sinful, wayward. We turn left when we should go right. We sit when we should be standing. We say no when God wants us to say yes. I often think of God taking care of a bunch of toddlers here on earth and trying to teach them the correct way forward. And yet, God rejoices over us, and with singing. He feels such joy over us that you couldn't stop his joy if you tried. Even now, if we were to get a good look into what's happening in heaven, we would see this joy, even in the angels. In Luke 15:10, Jesus says, "In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents." Joy, it seems, permeates God's world. He is delighted in us, even when it seems he shouldn't be. He fills his angels with delight all the time, not because of what they've done, but because of what he has done. And what has he done? There's our question. God has given us hope, delight, and joy. So I want you to take a second right now and, along the week and think about this. If joy is so rampant in heaven, among God and his angels, why is it so often limited to us here on earth? And what can we do to change that? What is one small step we can do to take our joy and celebrate it? All right, you guys. I will be seeing you in person on the 3rd floor very, very soon, and I cannot wait. So find your joy this week. Why do we find it so limited? What can we do to change it? Celebrate joy this week. I will see you so soon. I'll catch you next time. Bye.